All right, as usual, we're going to talk about your reality and our future. I'm going to really start just focusing on that, and that is creating our reality, going into that space where we can actually control it. But what about these predictions? So, are you familiar with Bashar? Bashar's always been pretty positive, and he's got a very interesting story. I'm going to tell you a little bit about him, his predictions, and what it all means. And what about those predictions, not just by Bashar, but anyone that haven't come true? I'm going to explain that, but I'm going to share something a little bit different today that may get you to think about things and just how amazing you are, how powerful. Let's go. Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube. I am here to help you break through those fears. We're going to create our future. We're going to start creating that golden era if that's what you choose. We could go into chaos if that's what you choose. So my question to you is, what do you think about predictions? Do you watch them? How do you feel when you listen to predictions? Well, it depends on what the prediction is. So I hope you'll subscribe because I'm going to talk more and more about the predictions of others, those current, and of the past. We're going to talk about you empowering yourself to create the reality and the predictions that are going to cause the ones we don't like to not come true. That's exactly how it works. So have you ever heard the predictions of Bashar? Well, actually, Onkka is the channeler of Bashar, who's been speaking and giving predictions for decades about humanity's future. And he shared timelines about a global unification, a galactic event, even open contact with extraterrestrials. But what happens when those predictions don't seem to come true? So today we're going to explore Bashar's most famous predictions from the 1990s to what's supposed to unfold by 2027 and uncover the deeper truth behind them. So who is Bashar? Bashar is a multidimensional being channeled by Onkka since the 1980s. Yeah, he's been around quite a while. His teachings focus on following your highest excitement, that's a high frequency alignment, and recognizing that reality is a reflection of consciousness. Along the way, he's also shared very specific predictions about our timeline, and many people still watch eagerly to see if they'll come true. Now, this is really interesting if you think about it, because is it any different than any other channeler? Why do we listen to channelers? So who is Bashar? Onkka, who is actually in the movie industry, he's a producer out in California. He started to channel, and he has seen UFOs and started to channel Bashar, who is supposedly his future self in the form of an alien that is sitting in a mothership, a craft, over planet Earth right now. And he communicates with Onkka, his past self, and gives him predictions. Now, we have to talk a little bit about that because I want you to really think about this because it gets a little tricky. 1990s, Bashar said we'd see the beginnings of a unified global philosophy combining politics, science, spirituality, and economics. Some people point to globalization and the internet as signs of this. Not so much. It never happened. We're still a mess right now, probably even more so. As one of my viewers said, I'm tired of hearing the predictions. I said, watch my videos because I'm going to tell you something, especially in this video, about what's going to happen with our future. In the year 2000, Bashar predicted this philosophy would become the foundation of a 1,000-year future for humanity. Clearly, that hasn't happened. According to a podcast promoted by Bashar's group, critical galactic events are expected to occur in 2025. At a 2024 event, and I actually did see the video, yes, it really was him. This is a quote. Bashar gave a controversial prediction about the U.S. election. Well, this isn't really a prediction, so this is the interesting part. He said, if the female candidate won, open extraterrestrial contact would happen. Okay, I think we already have that, right? If the male candidate won, well, we know who was who in that, the U.S. would cease to exist and World War III would occur. Now, how do you feel when you hear that? Not very good, right? And we're going to address this. He said there would be a huge galactic event that would change the globe and redefine humanity this year. So next year and beyond, there's going to be a big shift, but he has been predicting galactic events for a long time, big ones, So obviously these things haven't played out, at least not in the literal way many expected. So why didn't they happen? Let's talk about this. I want you to understand how your interaction and entanglement with these actually do affect the future. So here's we need to step back. He's always emphasized that timelines are fluid. I agree with that. Predictions are not guarantees. They're probabilities. This is Bashar said this. Think of them as road signs showing us what could unfold if humanity collectively aligns with a certain frequency. If we shift consciousness, the timeline shifts too. All right? So that means any one of us could really make a prediction, and if it doesn't come true, we could say, well, we didn't choose that timeline, and that would be actually true. Everybody could predict anything, right? And there's a pretty good chance you're going to be right at least part of the time. It's not too tough to figure out that we'll have floods and earthquakes and volcanoes and tsunamis and all these kind of conflicts that are going on. We can confidently predict these things, but my personal opinion is, why would an alien hovering over our planet predict our future? If you believe that we create our reality and our future, is that even possible? So we can't really truly predict anything, can we? If we're in control of that future and we can change it, what's a prediction anymore? As he said, it's a signpost of that moment in time of where we are, but can change completely. So my question about Bashar is this alien hovering over planet Earth, is it really his role to start predicting things? And actually scaring a lot of people with his 2024 prediction. So if those predictions are truly coming from an alien being, I can't help but think that their presence is not to predict our future, but to assist in altering it, whether good or bad, depending on what you believe. So perhaps those predictions are an attempt to do that. Is that the alien Bashar? Or is that Onkka? Well, they're one and the same, truly. So we have to be very cautious about who's speaking those words, because we're still human beings and we are part of the energy field that transmits those messages. We can't remove ourselves completely. That is impossible. So perhaps these predictions, not just by Onkka, Bashar, are an attempt to do that. Plant ideas of future possibilities. Or is this, once again, Onkka speaking with intentions to sway us? We cannot know, but either way, it has effects on all who listen. Just you listening to something, your beliefs and feelings about that actually interact with that prediction that they made. So let's talk about these predictions. What if you heard something quite frightening, like his 2024 prediction, which to me was totally out of character, because I've seen him talk and channel before, and he's always been so empowering and peaceful. So what if you hear this prediction, like if the male was elected, then global conflict would ensue and the United States would no longer exist? No matter what you truly believed, it would have an effect on you, wouldn't it? Of course it would. So let's take this a step further. Let me ask, how do you feel when you hear a positive prediction? What if I told you that we're entering a golden era? In fact, I tell you that all the time because it's a possibility, and I believe that there's enough of us going into that wonderful space that we're making it happen. I believe that we're going in that direction. Not for everyone, right? It is a personal choice. So doesn't that give you hope? Isn't that what we're all hoping to hear? That everything's going to be okay? So I'm going to tell you right now, everything's going to be okay. It's impossible for it not to be, because the ultimate return to oneness, we are in it in various individual expressions. Oneness is just pure love, no judgment, inclusion of all. This is the craziness that makes us want to go to predictions to tell us we're okay, because we don't believe we're creating it. So here's the most exciting part about this. Even if the literal events never happen, there's still something really valuable here. Bashar often said that technology mirrors consciousness, and I believe that. Look at the rise of artificial intelligence, virtual reality, quantum breakthroughs. These may actually be the metaphors for the galactic events he spoke of. I mean, you can interpret it any way you want. Humanity meeting its own reflection, expanding through technology, and being forced to ask, who are we becoming? So maybe the real message isn't whether Bashar was right or wrong, just like Nostradamus or Edgar Cayce. None of them were totally right all the time. In fact, they were wrong most of the time. So how can we interpret that? because they are only predicting what they see in that moment in time. They are also human beings whose religions or beliefs or whatever else is involved at that time can reflect in those messages. Never forget that. So Bashar's message is, you control the future. No channeler, prophet, or text can dictate your destiny. Predictions are invitations, not chains. In other words, we are not chained to anything that you're told is going to happen in the future. None of it has to happen. I'm talking about even the worst possible scenario. So if open contact never happens, or if the timelines change, what matters is what you choose to believe, embody, and create. Humanity's soul evolves not from waiting, but from taking action now. So remember, channelers are people, and their own beliefs and frequencies are going to affect their messages. And if you find them to be of a negative or fearful nature, simply tune out. We all have that choice, and no one else is to blame for our feelings, our thoughts, or our actions. And if a channeled or any message speaks of peace and unity, compassion, and a healing of our planet, then it can only bring hope and positivity. So those would be the predictions that may boost your frequency and give you that hope to help actually envision that future and therefore contribute to it. So whether it happens or not, by feeling hope, you contribute to the collective in a positive manner. In fact, the more of us that believe in a positive future actually can create it. The more of us. There's power in prayer. There's power in the collective. No one stands alone. And no one channeler has all the answers. If you look out there, they're all saying completely different things. Why is that? They're tapping into the endless dimensions. Or maybe they're just making stuff up. I don't know. But I do know one thing. We are going into the era right now, it's been happening, where we're taking control of that reality. We're interacting with everything within that reality, seen and unseen. We're starting to communicate with it. We're actually projecting ourselves outside of our bodies into those dimensions and understanding that it's so vast and that we can't understand it, that even extraterrestrials aren't quite what we think they are. Everything is energy, as are you. And now we are recognizing that we individually are creators as part of one whole that is never disconnected at any one point. So never turn on another one, criticize, judge, or separate. So what do you think about Bashar's predictions? Are they symbolic? Were they ever meant to come true? Or do you think we still have incredible events ahead of us in the next few years? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I'd love to hear your perspective. And if you're ready to take control of your own destiny, you can break through fear and start to live in a world that doesn't act out of fear, but knows that it is limitless and begins to create the new era, the new golden era that I believe is already happening. I have a free masterclass that's going to help you move past these limitations. I want you to understand that we're going to start to learn how to use these powers that we have. That predictions are anything you want them to be, and if you believe them, you'll help contribute to create them, especially in the collective. No matter how positive or negative they are, whatever you place your attention on will affect your energy field. So it's very important for you to protect that, because if somebody plants something in your mind, you can make it happen. Have you ever read your horoscope and it says you're going to have a bad day and you find out you're having a bad day? That's a subconscious thing that allows you to create it because somewhere you believed it. Even if you say, no, I didn't, it does become a part of your energy field. So if you're into predictions and you love those, I believe we do have something pretty amazing coming. I feel it. It's very powerful. Listen to your own intuition. And if you want to watch these channelers, listen to the positive messages, because you want to entangle with that, because that reality does exist and you and I can participate in it. It is a choice. No one can steal your energy. You are totally in control of all of that. Those of you who are entrepreneurial and you want to create online businesses, come on over. I just launched a fast track course on digital explorers where you can be up and running in 3 months. And we focus on doing really positive things for you, for the planet, and to turn you into an entrepreneur that's responsible, that's going to make a huge difference for yourself and everyone else. Thanks so much for watching. We're going to explore many more subjects of the multiple dimensions, the predictions, the futures and timelines. So get ready for it, because you're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.